Welcome back. Ireland have produced the shock of the Cricket World Cup so far. The associate nation, one of 4 without Test status in the tournament, beat the West Indies by 4 wickets in their opening match of Pool B. Admittedly, it's a very different West Indies side to the one that won the first 2 World Cups back in the 1970s. Amid stories of unrest in the camp, Lendl Simmons scored a century as he shared a stand of 102 with Darren Sammy, helping the Windies recover from 87 for 5 to 304 for 7. But Ireland, ranked 11th in the tournament, have a history of surprising in the World Cups, don't they? And a 92 from man of the match Paul Sterling, as well as an 84 from captain Ed Joyce, saw them reach their target with 25 balls to spare. Perhaps we shouldn't have been surprised, though. It's the 3rd straight World Cup that Ireland have beaten a Test-playing team after victories over Pakistan and Bangladesh in 2007, and then over England last time out in 2011. For more, I'm pleased to say I'm joined by Middlesex and England batsman Nick Compton. Great to see you as ever. There were amazing scenes of celebration when Ireland beat England back at the last time out. A lot more muted this time. Is that because we should be expecting now that this is what's going to happen? They are realistic chances?
Yeah, I think they are. If you look at the way they've played, particularly in World Cups, but going into this World Cup, I think there's a lot more pressure on those associate nations to get through to 2019. And I heard Ed Joyce speaking the other day about, you know, if they were to lose to the West Indies, they wouldn't see it as a disappointment. I think in the past, Ireland have gone in to just compete. And I think now they're actually realistic about the fact that they want to come here and not only compete, but actually do really well. So, you know, I'm not surprised that they won that game. I think they've got some really hardened cricketers. Ed Joyce is a fantastic player, and he really provides that glue in the Ireland side. Perhaps the glue that England would really like in their side at the moment. Do
you think, you mentioned 2019, does a result like this almost make a mockery of that decision to have a 10-team tournament?
I'm not sure. I think that there are some associate nations that do have a lot of work to do. I think Ireland would be the one that they've actually really pushed forward over the last 5, 6, 7 years, where they have competed well. So in many ways, it might bring the best out of these associate nations, knowing that they have to pull their socks up and really try and do a bit better. It does make it tough for them, and I think it is unfortunate, but a couple are going to miss out.
You mentioned England. India are another team who've pulled their socks up recently. They put in an impressive performance against Pakistan. But from what you've seen, who do you think the rest will be particularly worried about?
I'm a little bit concerned about India. I think in the faster tracks in Australia, I think their batsmen rely a lot on Virat Kohli up at top. And if he's not scoring runs, I don't think their batsmen are good enough in Australian conditions to really cause a threat. I think their bowling is also weak. I think if it was in India, there would be a different concern. So for me, they're not really favourites in this tournament, particularly Australia. I mean, they look awesome at the moment, don't they? They've got, you know, the cover in the bowling, in the batting. They've got match winners in all different positions. So I think it's very hard to look outside of them. New Zealand, again, you know, it's another very strong team under Brendan McCullum, who's a fantastic captain, and they too have very, very good players. So I think those two for me are your main threats. I think South Africa, you know, we know that we always say every World Cup, you know, how well they should do, but you know, I think that they could very much be there if they get their act together.
Nick, as ever, thanks very much indeed. Okay.